fetched. He is on his way. Honorable Omar Jabang would take his seat now. Justice Jaita has just entered the room. Please take your seats.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Justice Jaita and Honorable Jabang.
Justice Jaita, Bismillah, and Honorable Jabang.
Before the break, we talked about the provisions in the Constitution and how they were applied to the judiciary, the provisions relating to removal of judges. And going by your written statement, we have dealt with all the paragraphs from 1 to 8.
Andungila kuma kan safere ngo jumi alon ko ye wole nati commission nyati ngola jang nga fannal jubel kabo killing kata fo sey.
So we agreed that you would now talk about the experiences of members of the judiciary, including yourselves.
Silang kambenda men wala nyindi ko do kulal men yan ko wolle be kiti bunda nyindo ye koleal kul men taki anita fam kundi ngoni.
So perhaps Justice Jaita, we should start with your personal experience.
Andunga sikeno Justice Jaita nga damu te folola.
Then we would deal with the experiences of other judges that have been provided to you.
And
the personal experience of Honorable Omar Jabang.
Honorable Omar Jabang
And then we take it from there. All right. So, Justice Jaita, could you tell us your personal experience?
Justice Jaita sila ngada follow ite la kola ite sa fono nye ite kundingo ite kumentaki koleato.
Thank you very much, Lead Counsel, and thank you, Chairman and Member Commissioners.
Nimbara bake Lead Counsel, and Nimbara Chairman and Commissioner Kotengolu.
In 2015,
January karokono.
I was appointed as a first-class magistrate.
Yen tombong yenke magistrate makama follow tio, first class.
And I was posted at Brikama Magistrates Court.
Ando yen samba Brikama Magistrate kiti bundala.
And when I went to Brikama Magistrates Court,
Rintada Brikama Magistrate kiti bunda nyinto.
There was a backlog of cases.
Kiti jamal le tartalari nyoka nunje.
A lot of cases were pending for judgment.
Andung kiti jamalu bedendi nui nyanta menu kuntulanu.
And they were near judgment.
Andung katatalu kiti teola wotumo.
And I spent almost 10 months at Brikama Magistrate Court from January to October.
January kata October membitala fokari tanyo ngoke Brikama la kiti bundala ji.
Within that period,
I
was able to dispose of about 400 to 500 cases.
Ngatata han fo membitala kiti kemenane fo kemelulu nyonga kata ngolu bonyoto.
And I had the opportunity also to preside over many high-profile cases as well.
Andu ngani silo fananso to kasi kiti kuma jamalu fangulu kunna menu kata jenu.
I presided over cases which the state had interests.
Andu sita kitolu kunna meni alonko banko fango mansa kunda fango la solo bedendi ngo kitolu la.
Particularly the former President Yaya Jammeh himself.
Sako tumo President membe jannung Yaya Jammeh afango ya hameso kitolu dolto.
And some of his proxies as well.
Aning afango la mulu anolang kolu meni alonka nibe dending kula.
There was a case called the IGP and Muhyiddin Haidara and Buya Toure versus Buya Toure.
Kito bije meya lonko ate ning menu be dending kito nyina wolem Muhyiddin Haidara anim Buya Toure.
Could you give us little information about that case, what it's about?
Case nyim foisi kibar din na ko nyindo case nyim be tata na munang.
That case was Yaya Jammeh in 2014, I think, made a 2014 or 15, made a declaration.
Kito ngamera 2014 wala 2015 Yaya Jammeh ay kangole kuma kangole fonung
that Idul Fitri
ko sunkari salo
should be performed on a particular date.
ay lunne fo lungu me yalon ko mobe nyanta sunkari salo kala lungu la
It was around 28th of January.
ngamira January
Sorry,
karoti
July.
ngamira July karoti limu wang anin sey
And that, and and it was broadcast over the GRTS.
adun GRTS la kuma finti bunda ya kankula
That all Muslims should perform the Idul Fitr on that particular day.
ando ye kankularo ne mem fo ye kibaro men di ko misilmolu be nyanta sallaw lungole la Gambia jang
And for that particular one is that I think it went up to Kalaji. The rest of the country they could pray any way they want to pray. That was, but from Banjul right down to Kalaji, they were sanctioned to pray on that particular day.
ngamira kangonyin aya londi nyame ngolam nyinti kabo Banjul kata fo kan laji wol be nyanta sallaw lungole la te lungu mem fo bitun kabo kan laji kata fo banko danta damin e bitun wolu ade e sisalno lundola.
Was that caveat built into the pronouncement in the statement? That edict, if I may call it that, was. Chairman is laughing.
It was part of the broadcast, broadcast that was made. But the charge, they were charged with. It was not stated there, but they were charged under Section 116. So, but then.
Amunta keta mentinu ya ima kankula ni wole nyama ka lankena ma wonya barbitu amunta talangani yo munun wole ti ko ya fintindi nun bunda keme bunda taworo ni woro kono nyamin.
So the Kali Muhyiddin Haidara, this Sharif Muhyiddin Haidara.
Bitu Sharif Muhyiddin Haidara, memu kalifoti nun dasila mesangajor.
And his followers.
Na nolankolu.
Prayed on a different date.
Wulu salta lundolela.
And he ordered for their arrest.
Enyin kangodi koyolu muta.
And their prosecution.
And akoy sikitindi.
For disobedience to his lawful orders. Under Section 116 of the Criminal Code. And the police went and arrested, Muhyiddin Haidara. And the village head called Buyature. But when that was happening, I was not in the Gambia. And but then they were arrested and taken to Brikama Magistrates Court. And they were prosecuted for that. During the course of the prosecution, a lot of magistrates presided over the matter.
Magistrate Jamalu Sotonta Menu Kitartanun Kito Kunna.
One magistrate will come, handle the matter for whatever reason, will leave the case and move on.
Magistrate Luke Bulatanyono Manyame Nimenata Nae Kito Nyimado Mandindrong was Kito Nyimbula Aitakara Dola Waya Dabondiji. Dosina.
I think I was the 5th or the 6th magistrate to inherit that case.
Namirantelo mo lulu wala mo woron jangoti kitindila lukono menyo kito keta.
And I was not a principal magistrate at the time.
And wotembo namakamo mamfuta be magistrate kuntonka like for me principal magistrate.
There was a principal magistrate.
And wotumo magistrate bije memo kuntonkoti ka for me principal magistrate.
That principal magistrate was Omar Cham.
Wotumo membe makamo to ka fole Omar Cham.
For whatever reason, Omar Cham was transferred.
Bitung adalilo itelle alombare Omar Cham saundi.
And they brought another principal magistrate called Hilary Abeke.
Inata donati nanje memo principal magistrate ka for me Hilary Abeke.
And that case was the case for the principal magistrate to inherit.
Andu kito principal magistrate memo magistrate kundonko ti atele nyanta kito nyin keta la kake.
So Hilary Abeke,
woto Hilary Abeke
being the principal magistrate,
meya lonka telom principal magistrate atelom kundonko ti
was supposed to inherit that file.
Atele nyanta o file tala.
But he approached me
bari anatante kang
and told me in confidence
namu fulo kullo kang ay nyim fonye
that he has a serious concern with that case.
Ko de umbale be dending abulu wakito la ko kama.
2 reasons.
Dalila fula yofo.
One is because if he decides that case,
fulo nate yo kito kundu,
And he acquits and discharges the accused persons.
Anatani motu miringulu la ko kito kumfa ayebula.
Muhiddin Haidara,
Buya Ture,
he will be terminated. His service will be terminated in the Gambia.
Akoy bala doko iba baila doko la Gambia jang.
And if he convicts and this Muhiddin Haidara and Buya Ture,
akonanata Muhiddin Haidara ni Buya Ture fanan sorong,
and him being a Christian,
atadumu Christian oleti,
he feels that they would think is fighting religion, is more of a religious issue.
Ako dolu bajela ko nyimu dina keloleti katu dolu bata la ko atela Christian ya walanna ayake o silo la isake dina koti.
So he told me that he will assign the case to my court.
Ako wadalilo le ya sabu abe kito nyin saundila kanati na kiti bundala.
So well, that's not a problem.
Bo manke kole akuti.
He has that right because he's the principal magistrate.
Umala nyanto leti katu atelo mkiti ndirla kuntonkoti magistrate yato.
His function is to assign cases to other magistrates.
Ala doko mnyene tipuruka kito lutala magistrate lutema.
Then I inherited that case.
Nganyin kito keta tenne.
And when I inherited it,
biringa kito nyinta.
It was at the end of the case.
Kito nyimbandula le fangomude.
A lot of witnesses had testified.
Sede jamana ta watumo ye sede yaro
prosecution had closed his case.
Kitindir bunda menu be kito tamande kan woliela kito da soronde nu watumo.
No case submission was made.
Andu ye men kije wala mnyinti ko kuman soto ibe men tamande la kito nyinto.
It was overruled.
Amunta inata sembo lao bunda to.
Yes, and other witnesses, defense opened their defense.
Bitum menu belorin ke fan tankandi ulfanalu yela wo tankandi bunda ele kito la karola.
And I presided over the last few witnesses, 1 or 2 witnesses, and the case was closed.
Nde sita kuna tumo men na sede labangulu tu fula mo fula wala mo kili mo fula wolle fangulu labanta ila sede ro di la bitum kito bantaje.
The parties, the legal councils, council Antumana, senior council Antumana Gay.
Memo council Kebate Antuman Gay.
And council Lamin Kimboj.
And in council Lamin Kimboj.
Represented, the Muhiddin Haidara and Buya Ture.
Wolle Muhiddin Haidara and Buya Ture la lolaltinum kito bunda.
And the prosecution was represented, or the IGP was represented by police officers.
Between IGP menulotate wolle keta police luti.
At the end of the trial,
kito nyimbandulato
addresses were made,
yela kumakangulu banke,
and I delivered the judgment.
Between tenata kito nyinte kao kangulu banke.
In my judgment,
na kito te kangulu kang,
I acquitted and discharged the Muhiddin Haidara and Buya Ture.
Nga Muhiddin Haidara anim Buya Ture. Nge nyim foko luae bulale ime muta nge la kito banjele.
On the count of conspiracy and disobedience to lawful orders.
Ka foko wolie fero le city inata balang lua la kangola.
It was quite a lengthy judgment.
Aketa kiti te jamfaringoleti.
And the state never appealed against the decision.
Alum man sakunda manna wuli purka kito nying ka sayin kan kumandi.
And they were freed.
We da ye fanso tenne ye bula.
And from that moment on,
bari kabo tembo to
the country also was freed.
Banko fana ya fanso tenne.
From Yaya Jammeh imposing or sanctioning a particular day that Muslims should pray on that day.
Purka foko president silo ka foko muslimo lu nyanta salila nyi lunkari e banko moli fanso to fanankono wala tumola.
The following year,
Sanaka,
people decided to pray any day they want to pray.
Molu salta luolunding ilafta salla lunglu menula.
And he came to realize that that is not, he didn't interfere.
So
I continued delivering judgments.
And the
case of Wajwara, IGP and Wajwara also came before my court. I inherited that case as well. Who was accused on a single charge of abuse of office. That he created Sunchu Judam between Farato and Jambur.
Ko ay dinkirale lo afaye Jambur ning Farato te may kafdame Sinchu Gidom.
The prosecution closed their case.
Kitindir bunda menu ba kitindi kangul yela kito data un.
And the defense he was having a defense lawyer, but then he opened his own defense. He didn't open the defense. There was a no case submission.
Ate ya lawyer sotol de bari bitu afangole lota afango tankandola bundala aduna tanyine fanam foko kitita kunna.
I looked at the evidence.
Nga sede ya kolu jibe.
There was no prima facie case.
Andu kutije mensa itandi ko nyi mukitileti menyanta lola.
There was no reason for us to proceed with that trial.
Adun dalila man taraje mensa kendintel si continue wo kitola.
I acquitted and discharged Wajuara on that count.
Bitu wasilo fanang nga Wajuara la kito kumfajele ngabula kolua mamuta ngabula wonyale.
There were overwhelming evidence
Katu sede koyolu sotonta
that Wajuara did not create the Sunchi Judam.
ko Wajuara man wo sate o londi ka fo dami ye sinchu gidom.
Sunchi Judam himself
buje fango
did not testify.
ate fango manna sede ya rola de.
But the son came to court
Bari mem fango to ka fotenga dingole nata na kiti bundala.
and said his father created the village.
Akate fama le yo sate o lo.
So that case went also, we dealt with that case.
Bitu ngo kito fanan tamandi wala nyam.
I dealt with other cases with Keba Bojang and 22 orders.
Nga kiti do fanan tamandi ke babo jang ani momu ani fula kotengolu.
This was a case that, they were staff who were working at the Mandinari depot.
Nyil mumo leti meni alon ko ibe kido ko la num mandinarin depot leto.
Oil, and they accused them of stealing fuel.
Ando jemu essence do ku bundal ti tumi ko mu essence sungol leti.
One Mohamed Basi was the head of that place.
Ikafome Muhammad Basi atelom nyaton ko te do ku bundala.
A driver and was caught with gallons of fuel.
Ye driver muta moto sambala me ya lonko ye galongulu muta bulu menketa essence galongol ti.
All those who were working there,
Menu bebe do ko la je.
who were on holidays,
Men ya lonko be dahawa to lela nu tumo.
duties,
Imantara do ko la fang.
we are all arrested,
Itata ulu be muta.
taken to Banjul police station.
Ye samba banyulu ndim police kor
Into court.
Ina te samba kitola.
Said, well, they have to go and prove their innocence.
Ko yeta ye fan sene andi dia mo nyinkolo.
I acquitted and discharged all of them.
Ngolu fanalu la kito ta tumo menna nge bulalen ko luwa me muta.
Because there was no evidence
Katu sede ya man sota kuala.
that they were caught with anything.
Ka fo ye fenne mute
They
bulu.
were at the property.
Dinkira nyim fanto do kudlatu je.
Literally, it was just like someone is interested of getting rid of these employees.
Amunta mole lafita num pour kanyin do kulalu bayya ni ole muliata.
And they thought they could just get rid of them that way.
Andu ye nyim muta konse bayno le nyi silo la kebe bondi do kuala.
Dealt with many cases. As I said, I came in, it was 10 months, there was a backlog of cases. My job literally at that time was to deliver judgments.
Ntena ta konga fonu nyame ngakari tanne kije adu ngakiti jamal le taralari nje menu be dending. Bitu o wuche o kono ngana kato dango ke pour ka o kito lu bonyoto ka kito lu tamandi kete.
A lot of judgments.
Ngakiti jamal le teje.
The state never appealed against these decisions.
Adu mansab kunda manna muru pour ka o kito lu sain kan wulindi kotake.
And whether they were aggrieved or they were not aggrieved, I didn't know, but I think they were very unhappy with my decisions.
Foi kamfata foi man kamfa maolonde barin sobeta kwa seke I kamfat imalla fi na kito lu nyintenyala.
So there was a case as well called the IGP and Keba Conte and Seku Conte.
Kiti do fanan sotonta me alonko IGP anin Keba Conte nin Seku Conte la kito lem.
It was a case I inherited.
O fanamu kiti le tinga mentara je nga keta.
And it was almost also coming to an end.
And wo fanam bandula mbenta ole fe.
I looked at the case,
Na kito njube.
and the case was, we were proceeding with the case.
Andumbe kito nyin tamandi kanyi.
The prosecutors in the case were not happy that I am handling that case.
Kitindir lalu men be kito nyin kunna woluman sewo de kafo kito nyin tele ba kunna.
I told them that I will not recuse myself in a case just because you do not like me to proceed with the case.
Nganyina foyen ko nteten dabo la kito nyin to kafo ngatu je kafo ko atelman sewo purunte nga kito nyin tamandi.
If you feel I am biased,
Nali amira ko nteman tiling alife
or you want another magistrate to handle that matter,
wala alilafta magistrate do na kito nyin tamandi
you have to make that application.
alio alinyand albe o safero le kela.
I made it very clear to them
Nga sene yandi ma lew
that my court
konte la kiti bundala
would not be subjected to
ay atakela kiti bundati me ya lon ko asitara dending
mere suspicion,
ka foko sobitale dorong
capricious
ka foko nga kule soton chondo moko no menga mira
allegations.
men sike tumiro luti.
without any strong reason,
satara dalila bambandintala
and I would not accept that.
nte wo ku fasongolu tala
Then I proceeded with the case.
bitun tententa kito nyinna
So the case came to an end.
hani fo kito banta dami
But I started writing the judgment,
ngada muta purka kiti teo kangolu safe
because judgment writing,
biring be kito tenya kangolu safela
you have to start from the beginning of the case.
foya damuta kito folota nan dami
What is the charge?
ya mari tumi munela
Are the particulars?
aning mendu mu koluti kangolu kalamiro lu menu fotama
When they were arranged,
hani fo wati jumalo ye londi
they
kito
accept
nyati
the charge,
hani fo ye tumi menula
and you evaluate the evidence.
andu yena wo sedo lu jube wo tumi kolu to
Apply the law to the evidence.
yelu atamandi wo sede kol la karola
And you make a finding.
bitung isina kolu kono jibe
So as I looked at the beginning, the particulars of the case,
bringa folo nan ko damuta dulato nga kito nyin na kolu lanya jibe
I realized that this case, in fact, is from Sukuta.
ndataje ko nyin kito fango abotanan sukutale
The subject matter is from Sukuta.
ko men bebe dendinga kono abotanan sukutale
The parties are from Sukuta.
menu beba kono ibota sukutale
I said, well, I do not have territorial jurisdiction over this matter.
nko woto nyi mukuleti me ya lonko nyanta lala nyamin amanya na tarla ntella karola jang
And because of that,
wo kamala
I lack jurisdiction.
woto kango tente bulu wala sembo ten na purka wo kitoke
In law,
loi
jurisdiction is fundamental.
ala sarto mumenti ko keta daminga nyama anyanta kela woleto
If a court lacks jurisdiction
nin kiti bunda man sembe soto kito mento
in a matter,
kuto
you cannot take any steps in that matter.
ite simfa wo simfa ta no la wo ko kono
The only course of action
isi kuketa no menke no je isi kuketa menke no je
is to strike out the case,
wala me kito nyimburuka ya fintindi
not even to transfer the case.
hani ka sawundi o fawti jede
Because transferring the case,
ka to ka kito nyin sawundi
you are taking steps,
amon taybe simfa ta kanne
and I do not have that authority.
andu wo kango wo sembo tenna
So in my judgment,
goto nga kito te nyamin
I said I lack territorial jurisdiction over this matter,
nganyina foko dinkira la taranyambe dinkira mento woto sembo tentela pour ka nyin kito tamandi nyin dinkira ton tolube damen
and I supported that with law.
andu wo fanan ngawo fanan fasa nga sembentu yani lualela
Because
katu
Bundung Court,
bundung kiti bundala
before that, Sukuta is in West Coast region.
janni o fango be kala sukuta be birkama tundole kan
And Birkama Magistrate Court, by virtue of the Courts Act,
birkama magistrate kiti bunda nyin ko kiti bunda nyin fango la sarto be lori nyami
has jurisdiction over cases from the West Coast region.
ye sembo soto ka kito lu tamandi menu bota birkama tundo kan
But the creation of Bundung Court,
bari bundung kiti bunda la law
Birkama Court
birkama kiti bunda
and Kanifing Court
anin kanifin kiti bunda
ceased to hear matters within their jurisdiction in certain geographical location.
wo dinkira fulolu wo tumolen sembo bota wulu bulu pour ka kitolu dolu tamandi men ya lon ko ibota dinkira dolle to wo tundo kanje
And that was an act of the National Assembly
alu onata ke député bum fongola kallori ngoleti
when they created the Bundung Court
biri kiti bundung kiti bunda londi
under legal notice
ko luala yitandiro kan
number 3 of 1997,
même mo sabanjangoti 1997 luwa bukoto
section 2 of that act
bunda fulanjangola wo luala karola
provides that
ay nyina yitandiko
Kanifing Magistrates Court
kanifing magistrate court
and the Birkama Magistrates Court
anim birkama magistrate court
shall cease to have jurisdiction
wolu ila sembo be banale fango ite nyin sembo sotola
in the areas named in section 3 of this order
pour ye dinkiralu menu fo fanna sabanjango nyin nakangoto
without the completion of these courts of any matter pending before them.
na manke kuti me yalon ka tamata fabanta kito la karola membe laring e nyati lingola
Section 3 also provides that
ate bunda sabanjango nyin fana nyine itandiko
there is thereby constituted a court
wari anatalo han fo sain ko kiti bunda londi
subordinate to the High Court,
me yalon ko wo be kiti bunda ba nyin ne fango noma
or part of Western Division
Brikama tundo la fanna dolu bije
and Kombo St. Mary's Division,
anin kombotuba banko la fanna dolu bije
which shall have jurisdiction in the following area:
meni alon ko ulbe sembo soto na dinkiral leto menu be laring
Sukuta,
Sukuta Sanchaba
etc.
ana nyon ko tangolu
Section 4 of the said act
bundana ni njango ni loi koto
provides that
we nyina foko
the court shall be styled as a Bundung Magistrates Court.
kiti bunda nyi ba londila ko Bundung Magistrate kiti bunda.
So because of that law, this law,
bitu wo loi nyi loi mem fototeng
I struck out the matter
na ko nyi mburuka
because the court does not have jurisdiction over the matter.
katun tela o kiti bunda man sembo soto purka o kito tamandi
And the parties have to go to the right courts.
bitu menu ba kito nyi kono inyanta tala kiti bunda lela men ya sembo soto abedamen nuto
The executive,
nyatonko banku nyatonko la bunda
particularly Yaya Jammeh himself,
ko pat yaya jamme fango kungo
was not happy with my decision.
aman se wo fereng ndela o kangoto
He was aggrieved with it.
akam fatal na kuoto
He gave an executive order
anata nyatonka kango di
for my arrest
pour yetante muta
and detention.
pour yetan sindi dula kilim fanang wala mkan
Friday.
soro jumalungo
Night.
suto
That was on the 6th of November.
november karotili woro
The head of the serious crime unit,
memmo nyaton koti kujaw bundalu la karola ka fadame serious crimes unit
at that time, I think it was one Fakeba Dabo,
membe jenu tumo ngamere ka fa ne fa keba dabo
came with 2 or 3 other police officers
anata nim police fula wala police sabanyong
and arrested me at night.
ye muta suto bala
And they didn't tell me why I was arrested.
ma fonye dalilo me ya kendide ye muta
I was wondering what is the problem.
mbemira kanko wa mune keta mune mu dalilo
What
ti
have I done?
ngamune ke
So they said, well, let's go to the police station. You will know what has happened.
ina rafanya ngata police officer to ibalo na le menketa
On the way to the police station,
mbesilo kambita kam police station to
asked
tumo
me, you don't know what happened.
ye nyinin ke malo menketa
I said, well, I don't know what happened unless if you tell me what happens.
nko ente malo de menketa de fanatel ya fonye de menketa
They came with a 4-wheel drive,
ini nyi moto le nata nyi moto ba me ya lonko ka fa 4-wheel drive
sandwiched me in the middle,
ye mbula tema ye itelisita nyi karafulo bela
and drove me to Brikama police station.
ye nsamba Brikama police station
Arrived at Brikama police station at 10 o'clock around that time.
mfuta Brikama police station to talanta ma
I
fangola
was taken into a very small room,
ye nsamba bundingo kono je
and one officer came called Bubasar.
mo nata je officer ka fo me Bubasar
The Bubasar was the crime management coordinator.
wotumo mem marata o kukurungulu kolu kumbengola crime management coordinator atelom
Together with with this Mr. Dabo,
ani Mr. Dabo nata nyola
I think with the station officer, with other police officers in
na
this
mera
small room.
police korda nyi na nyaton ko ani police dolu wo bundingo kono je
And they confronted me with my decision
ina ta kallo nyati ngola nga kango men tamandi pour ka wo kuma kango lu fonye
I decided to struck out this matter
ko ne aja nyin kito nga buruka
because I lack jurisdiction in the matter
katu kito nyin amanya na kelante la kiti bundala
and that they have received an order for my arrest.
ando dalilo la yasabu ye kango di tolula pour itele nante muta
Justice Jaite, did they show you the order, the executive order?
Justice Jede foi kango nying safere ngon ya itandi la ba me longo wale sembodi la pour kaneno kam banke muta
They did not show me the order.
ima kango safari ngodi itandina
Proceed, please.
So I was trying to tell them that the Constitution, I have immunity from this arrest.
nga foyen mba kata kampurka koindi makonte nyimutaro amanyang aman silo soto purali yente muta
If they agree with my decision,
natara e kamfata na kallori ngole kamma
I could just appeal against my decision.
isi kito sain kan wulindi no le na kango kandoro
Besides, this is a magistrate's court's decision,
katu nyimu magistrate kiti bunda la kangolete
and I do not have jurisdiction in the first place.
andum follow ni ajube nyin kito manya na kelante la kiti bunda la
Jurisdiction is our work, is the bread and butter of judges.
sibole mu kiti ndirlalu la do ko mu kito leti me ya lonko ya sembo soto anyanta na le la kiti bunda la
So, well, they decided to leave one after the other.
bitu italu boyta killing bola nyo koto jele kata
The junior officers came and told me, I think we have to go to Banjul.
bitu ila duma lankolu wole nata ko nyanko ngamera silande fonga ta banjul
So they placed me in another four-wheel drive.
Yembula moto do kono, 4-wheel moto do kono.
Sandwiched me in the middle.
Wolu fanali yembula tema.
And took me to Banjul.
Yen samba Banjul.
I went to the Banjul Serious Crime Unit.
Ndata Banjul ikavada serious crimes unit kuja ubalu kata madame.
And my wife was very unhappy because my wife is not a Gambian, is an English national.
Namuso niyo kuyata kuola bake ate manke Gambian kota ate bota England banko le kang.
He was very worried of people disappearing. And especially my arrest was at night as well. And said, well, he has to come and follow where I am going to know where he has to follow. So they followed me to Brikama. So collected some other family members. When they arrived at Brikama, they told him, well, they have gone to Banjul. He became more worried. So then I was taken to Banjul, serious crime. I met these police officers who were there. I don't have to complain because their order was to keep me there. Generally, they were very sympathetic. And even the police officers at Brikama also were very sympathetic. Because they didn't like what was happening. Because I had presided a lot over their cases pending and I disposed of a lot of their cases. So they gave me a mattress. And asked me if I can sleep on that. So I was expecting that I would go and meet a panel to explain to them. But then on the whole, I was there just to be detained. So my wife came and also spent the night with me there. And some of my family members also were there. I think the police officers who were at the serious crime at that time were not also happy with what was happening. They didn't want to be very drastic with me. They did not, take my mobile phone. I was communicating with my family and other members and informing them that look, I am here. This is what happened. Hanina mobile telefono. Imatambulu abembulo kono nimbadingul nimolu diamukang kafo member caring. So then I spent the entire weekend there with my family. Up to Monday. So Monday, I thought I will appear before a panel to give a reason to tell me why they have arrested me, and maybe I will be given an opportunity for me to explain to them what they have done is wrong. They shouldn't have done that. So members of the bar we are coming to meeting me there. And some of the magistrates and others also came and met me there.
How about the police leadership?
The police didn't come over the weekend. The media was there. They were asking me, what is the problem? I told them I struck out a matter because I lack jurisdiction. They said I've committed an offense. That So that became the headlines over the weekend, Monday. The following Monday, so I was still under detention. Then the former Inspector General of Police, who is now the Minister of Interior, Yankuba Sonko, came down and met me and came down and asked me to go and to go into a small office.
Anata entaraje akonna eta office kanyandingo do kono.
So in that office,
office kono,
he said he had a lot of calls.
Ako ay commander Jamal Lesoto.
You know, asking him, why do you arrest this magistrate?
Ka nyinin ka munan nyin kitindirla karimuta.
You know, so a lot of from lawyers, from litigants, from, you know, all over. Everyone was calling him.
Mo Jamale ba commandi kan kabiri lawyer lu kitindirla kotengolo hani menu fanglu be kito lu kono wulu fanglu sotonta men yakili.
So before coming, he was even sympathetic of my situation.
Hako hani jamning atabinante kam fango ay bala fa soton na koto.
And he started telling me, he also had a similar experience with the police.
Afango nyim fanam fonyen ko ate fango anene nyin ku fasongo takile anim police olu.
And he was calming me down.
Betung ate bente tenkundi kan kanjuso nyabu purunga kana mutaku kolenti.
That this is not the action of the police.
Ko nyim manke police la kuke tati ifaye.
That it is the President Yaya Jammeh
ko President Yaya Jammeh
who ordered for my arrest
koyen temuta
and detention.
Andu sin sorong.
And that day, that was on a Monday, that was the day the President himself was traveling, going on a Meet the People tour, going to cross the river Gambia to Bara.
Andu wotenengo wulunna mulunguti ate President nyanta taman damutala anim banko molula nyoje taman Meet the People to wulunna nyanta tela Bara purka taman damuta.
He told me he will go and meet him because by protocol he will be there to meet the President when he is leaving Banjul.
Akondung wolung ate fanamba katala le kata President je katu hani sarto lu fon ya fule ko anyanta tarla jele nim President be bola Banjul pour kata o tamola.
And he will also tell the President to forgive me and to leave me to go.
Ando abe nyum fanam fala President we kasi yam fama ayembula ngata.
So we should wait until the evening when the President is leaving. He will use that opportunity to speak to the President.
Ako biton si ko nyimbula wonya doron fo wuraro nim President bitala te be fero kala la diamu President we pour si ko lu tamandi wonya.
Meanwhile, then he left.
Biton teng botaje wotumole kata.
Then my colleagues at the Magistrates Court from Banjul and others were all coming with Omar Jaba and others. They were all coming to meet me.
Nakafu nyolu kabrim Banjul kiti bunda nyina nim bunda kotengolo ando ku nyolu nkafu nyolu hani katabula Omar Jabang ibena tantarajele.
So we were, you know, it was a little bit ridiculous arresting a trial judge, you know, a magistrate for striking out a case because they lack jurisdiction. They couldn't understand.
Aketa ku ke jawori ka kitindirla muta me ya lonko ya muta nyine kanko ay kitile buruka me ya lonko amanya nanala atela kiti bundala kana muta wo kango kan ku ke jawbaleti.
Your colleagues were coming to see you and to sympathize with you. How about your superiors?
Ido nyo kotangolo inara like kai jubeje pour ka bala fa itandila. Sai ila nyaton ka kotangolo.
And I called the then master Buba Jao.
Motumo memmo kiti bundala do kula nyaton ko di master e ka fome Buba Jao tala Buba Jao nga komandi.
And explained to him of my predicament, my situation, that I'm under arrest.
Ngan taranya faye ko mbe mutole kono de mbete mbeda mento nga faye.
He said, promise to come to see me.
Ay la hido ko ta ko abina njelale.
He was going to come and see me with the former, you know, judicial secretary.
Ako abina njela dunna bina animmo bina memmo kiti memmo kilako tinu kiti ndir bundala do kulala karole ka fome judicial secretary.
However,
he
never came.
Anena manna.
No other superior officer came from the judiciary.
Adunya tonka do mambona o kiti bundala men sinante kang.
And instead, I received a letter relieving me of my service.
Nata mune soto ye letter ole natinye kambondi na do ko.
Who issued that letter?
From the judicial secretary.
About our judicial secretary lebulu memmo kilaki bati memmarta kitindir ko.
That I am relieved of my service.
Ko ya na do ko tambulule.
And that's it. So that.
Did they state any reasons?
They did
not state any reason.
Mandalila wo dalila foje.
They only thanked me for my service.
Yen numbara le drom pour ngadu ko menkeye. Bankoye.
Later, I met the then master Buba Jao.
Bolube ko la nata o master je Buba Jao.
And asked him.
Nganyininka.
He told me that the Chief Justice, Justice Fakbele, the then Chief Justice Fakbele,
Chief Justice yala ka fome Justice Fakbenle
told him that they should not come and see me.
Wole nyim faya koytelu manyana nala kananteje.
And they should not be associating.
Andu manyana ifang katandila ko nyinna.
And it's because of that they didn't bother to come and see me.
Wo dalilo le ya sabu itelu fanalu manguli pour kananteje.
Then I was there. Then in the evening, the president had already left Banjul.
Mbe nyale je wuraro president onata bo Banjul kata.
Then this Inspector General of Police, Yankuba Sonko, called me.
Otumolem police la kuntonko Yankuba Sonko ayen kumandi.
And told me what is happening to you is wrong.
Aya fanye membe ke kangala anisilo manta.
Let's keep this in confidence.
Nganyim ke kuti nga ke kulloti nda mangulu tema.
And not for the public not to be aware of it.
Pour jama molu kanabo kolu kalama.
And granted me bail.
Ye bail dinna pour ka mbula.
The sum of $500,000.
Me ya lonko ye men kanin na bail sarto nyin dalasi wuli kemelulu.
I was wondering, $500,000, what offense have I committed?
Mbemira kan dalasi wuli kemelulu ngamun kuja uleke.
What offense? It's just treated me like a common criminal. But I was wondering, $500,000. But anyway, I had good family members like my brother is here, Modu.
Bari ngamira wala dalasi wuli keme amunta itel benta mutakanda konta mu mokurum balati bari bitum ngamira wo dalilo la ndo ma fango bijang Modu
my big brother
nkoto ma
Modu
Jaite
they call him Fred.
e ka fayne Fred
He was there. He stood as my surety.
al tele lota kenna sankoti
I was released on bail.
Yembula bail kango kang
And said I should be reporting to the police station every day, 9 o'clock, something like that.
During all this, did you attempt to reach the Chief Justice? To explain what happened?
Chief Justice
I called him, the Chief Justice, Justice Fakbele.
Chief Justice, Justice Fakbenle.
I couldn't get hold of him.
No.
Because I was under detention, my wife was with me there. I told my wife to go and meet the Chief Justice. He went to the office of the Chief Justice. And the Chief Justice was somehow a little bit, does not want to be associated.
Chief Justice amunta aya fanjam fandi kuolale amalla fikatala konyi na fereng.
Did not, and my wife came back and said, the Chief Justice cannot help you.
Namur so muruta nanga kwenye Chief Justice te mako inola.
And she has no hope on the Chief Justice.
Ando amanjiki femfen la Chief Justice la Karola.
Chief Justice in fact said he cannot do anything about this case.
Ate Chief Justice fama memfolem nyinta ate kokundin tamandino la nyinkoto.
The case is beyond him.
Kwenye nkuota mbita telale.
So my wife decided to come and meet me and say, well, this is what the Chief Justice said.
Namuso na tankanga ay fanya kwenye Chief Justice ya nyine fo.
So we were there, but then I was granted bail.
Mbije bari bitu inata bail dinna.
So I was reporting on bail.
Utumo nkata ndanku bail kango kang.
Anytime I'm going, my wife will follow me.
Nimbita wate nina muso sitanyola.
One day we were there.
Lunkili mbije.
Then they said we should report now to Brikama Magistrate Court.
And
they placed me in one of their Land Rovers or four-wheel drives.
And
there was almost very little amount of fuel in the tank. We drove and went to Canifing somewhere. I think there is a mechanic, their garage there.
There
was no fuel in the vehicle. We couldn't proceed. We were there for more than 2 hours. So the police officers will leave me and my wife in the car. I have to even give them $400 for them to go and buy fuel over the tarmac, not to come and fill it. Then went to Brikama. When we went to Brikama, they said now we have to go in camera. So the Gambian bar was very sympathetic with my situation. And Laming Ellis Camera was there. He came and said, I will represent you.
Lamin Ellis Camera bije anata konya ntabe lole yenne.
Pro bono.
Satara etenjola.
So we went to Brikama Magistrates Court.
Tata Brikama magistrate kiti bundala.
I thought I was going to the open court.
Ngamera ko mbita kiti bunda yele ringole tonu lankela makito.
We will go in camera.
Ako hani mbita mbakela kullo
Public
kito.
should not be aware of it.
Jama manya na bola nyin kalama.
But it should not, we just go in and we come out.
Motalo na menketa mbedunna lembe menkela ngake ngafintina.
I said, all right.
Ngo ke abetata.
Then we went in.
Ntata konoto.
He read the charge to me.
Ye kala mironyi ye tu mironyi mfonye.
I said, I'm not guilty of this offense.
Nko nyimtama nyinki tu miro me ya foten kuteje me endemuta.
But then I wanted to speak out, but I said, let me hold my horse.
Wotumo lafta diamula bari nko mfaye fananko mbatu ngamfamuta follow.
We adjourned the matter.
Ngakonyin dem follow.
So the IGP Sonko,
Wotumo IGP Sonko,
I don't know what he did, but he must have done a lot because a lot of pressure was on him. People were calling him all over.
Ngamira e kukele de katu wotumo kumandiro lusembo warta kan tontondiro fanan sembo warta kan wotumo.
So he called, I think he must have met the president, Yaya Jammeh himself.
Ngamira tata la ni president wa nyoje Yaya Jammeh.
Yaya Jammeh must have said, well, now you can leave him to go.
Ngamira Yaya le kayen ko say ngalabula ita.
So in one of our appearances in camera,
Birin tata o kullo kito lula silado sotonta.
the police now said they are withdrawing the charge against me.
Wotumo lem polisol ko say ye tumiro melan kan say nge ba burkala le ya bonding kan.
And the charge was a single count.
Adu tumiro amunta tumiri kankilin doron nemu.
And that is for abuse of office.
Wolem nyinti nga kukuru ngole kenna office o kono.
And the particulars of that charge
Andun tumiro lumenu be larin wo kan
reads as follows.
ye nyin kuma kangol le fontema.
They say, Mr. Jaite,
Ko Mr. Jaite
that you did in the month of September 2015,
ko September karo kono 2015 ngamenke
Kama Magistrates Court,
Brikama magistrate kiti bundala.
Republic of the Gambia,
Gambia banko kan
you as magistrate,
ko ndeme mu magistrate nu wotumo.
signing over a criminal case
Mbesirin kiti kunna memu kuru ya kitoti.
involving the Inspector General of Police,
Dame yalon ko Inspector General membe police adaba kono.
also Sekou Conte and Keba Conte,
Anin seku konte nin keba konte.
willfully neglected your official duty
Nganya kasin na office do ko wala.
failing to transfer the said case
Ka mbalanta mankito nyin saundi.
to a sister magistrate,
Kata samba magistrate kiti bunda dola.
even though the prosecution raised your concern about your fairness.
Adun hani kitindir bunda ye ila de unda itandi ntela tilingo kenyala.
By applying to transfer of the said case,
Puro ka kito nyin ka safero ka pur ka saundi.
which you subsequently struck out
Labango nga kito nyin burukale nga bondi.
for lack of jurisdiction,
Iko katu kito nyin nga manyana na lantela kiti bundala.
and thereby committed an offense.
Iko bitu ngao menke wonya wole mkukurungoti.
And that was an offense because I did not transfer the case. I struck it out.
Iko katu wole mkukurungoti nga wole ke wairi nga kito nyin burukale manso na saundila.
So that charge was, they withdrew the charge.
Bitu inatawo tumirole bonding kang ya buruka.
But interestingly, in that trial,
Bari mensi kenyi sola koti o kito kono.
the principal magistrate there was Magistrate Hilary Abeke.
Me yalon katalom kitindila nyaton koti wolem magistrate Abeke.
Normally, when there is no case, when there is a trial has no charge, you withdraw the charge. What you do, you strike out the case.
Nin kito keta ina tatara ko nyi mukito ultime ya lonko sartata la dalila tala eka kito nyi burkale.
But interestingly,
Bari nyabo ko memba bari menna take jakali ko ta kono.
Principal Magistrate Abeke acquitted and discharged me.
Principal Magistrate Abeke ay mbula ay kito nyi fango mumeo be ay burka.
He did you a favor.
By de marol dida.
I thought he was doing that so that they don't come back to that court again.
Na mera kenyere kama puru kana muruna o kiti bundala kota ke.
So I was acquitted and discharged.
Bitunte yembula tenne ye kito nyi mbanjele fa.
Whereas I should only be discharged
Andu nyanta mbula la lundrong.
because they could bring back the charge.
Katu isi tumiro murundino kanne.
So
But
that was
now
the
they
case. Then
cannot.
I left, I went and became a private practitioner.
Tumbota jele utumole mtata lo mfaye ngam fansun do kubunda londi mfaye nkana kito lu
So they did not even reinstate you.
Munde manne murundi nan do ko la kotanke.
I don't think they would like me to come back
Malla fi be malla lay be lafila purunde nga murunna.
until the change of government.
Hanu fo man sakunda falinda tumomen.
Then I was elevated.
Utumole na palaso nata lafa.
Yes.
Interesting. I know there's similar experience by His Worship Honorable Omar Jabang. But before we come to him, I would want one of you, or as you wish to present it, to take us through some of the experiences of the other members of the bench.
Ngalon Honorable Omar Jabang ata fanang yin kusifa kilingol ay wala taki bari janni wo belafla puru altol donyo do ko tongol mealon ko fanang yin kusifa del taki yin ko le kusifa kilingol puru aliol fanano ko yin alia satanya ja.
So are you referring the judicial officers?
Yes.
Yes. Let me take it through, then we can come to you.
No, yeah. I just want to what we did as an association.
You can deal with that.
Exactly. When he was arrested,
please.
We came together as magistrates to sit over the issue and go and meet the Chief Justice then
Chief Justice
to ask for the unconditional release of His Worship Jaite. We convened the said meeting at the Kanifi Magistrates Court. When we met, some people were very reluctant about the approach that we want to take. Knowing how some Gambians can play out, you will agree on a course with them, and when you start taking steps, they will try to backpedal. I asked His Worship Fati, as he then was, Ablai Fati, that we write a resolution and make so every magistrate who was present at that meeting sign it. So that if we approach the office of the Chief Justice, whatever consequences we will face would be visited on all of us. No one will have an opportunity to back out. I remember some of them saying that I was very young, not married, and that others should not listen to my approach. But I insisted. I wrote the said resolution. I signed it. I gave it to Ablai Fati. He also signed. Patrick Gomez then also signed. Then others, now everybody signed. It was as if I have foreseen what was going to happen in the office of the Chief Justice. So when we met him in his office, it was only me and Abdullah Fati who spoke truth to the then Chief Justice. Others were trying to romanticize their words and their statements to the Chief Justice. I could remember telling him that it was not in the interest of the judiciary to allow the executive to sneak in to our affairs, because we have constitutional frameworks that should be exploited, even whereas what His Worship Jaite then did was wrong. I told him that there are appeal processes, and that was the best format to correct his wrong, even if he was wrong. And not to allow executive interference. I remember even raising a question that who do we know is going to be the next victim? And unfortunately,
Andu ko nata ke kuki nya ke baloti.
The baton fall on my head.
We would
come to that.
Exactly, we will come to that. And he said, his response to me was, he said, Jabang, in as much as you love your child, if that child falls in a crocodile pool, if you are not a crocodile, you cannot save him. These were his exact words. Meaning, practically, there is nothing absolutely that I can do for Justice Jete. Ablai Fati also took the floor. He echoed similar sentiment. But our efforts proved futile. And we dispersed. Our agreement was to go there, ask for his unconditional release, and if that is not met, we go on a sit-down strike, and we issue a press statement. Because there was no union among us, we could not do anything. So we decided to disperse.
Interesting. Did the Chief Justice?
Chief Justice knew.
I imagine must have been Emmanuel Fagbele.
He was the one.
Did he offer anything to strengthen the principles that you espoused in that meeting?
Nothing, absolutely.
So the power, the dictatorial power to sack judges and magistrates continued. Take us through the experiences of the other judges of the superior courts. And I noticed that some of the statements could be fairly lengthy. You can, where you think it's possible to summarize, we can summarize. At the end of the day, we would exhibit your statement, your document, so that we can capture everything.
Okay.
Kalamutala ko kumakango dol beje jamfa batale isa sutiandi nodron mi misalo di nyato som demanding kumakang ni safero nyimba dunda diamo nyimba.
We want to end the hearing at 3 o'clock. So perhaps maybe, Mr. Chair, today we will take a shorter break, and we want to end this hearing at 3 o'clock. So take us as far as you can, and then we would exhibit the statement and we take it from there.
Yes. Thank you, Lead Counsel.
Lead Counsel.
To start with the present Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Hassan B. Jallow.
Ka follow mo la me yalon ko nyintembe wala former Chief Justice the Honorable Hassan B. Jallow.
As a judge of the Supreme Court in 2003.
Mketindrilale mwatinu Supreme Court 2003.
And following the killing of several students by soldiers in 2002,
demonstration. Talibolio balambaya ke 2002 hanufoye talibu jamalu fa ikono.
He delivered a ruling of the panel of the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court ye sarto melondi panelo kafo mulu menu sita kuna ateleo kango banke.
And it was against the state.
Andu amunta kulo meye mansakunda doya bak.
He directed in that ruling
ay nyin kumakango lufo kumakango lekono
that in respect of such incident
ko ninyi nyon ku fasongolu sotonta
a case against the state should proceed in the High Court.
Kito nyanta kela kiti bunda bala High Court meya lonko nyanta mansakunda fango kiti ndila jele.
Notwithstanding the retroactive amendment of the Indemnity Act.
Meya lonko woni nyin kolte kilindi inata mansakunda nata sarto membondi menu yo bara jawoke ka foko kuta kele wawla.
To shield the law enforcement officials from liability for the killings.
Puruka loi bunda do kulalu men keta o kiditi wolti men yo dindingulu fa kawlu bondi wo di koñin kono satara loi te lale kan kulur te lale kan.
His wife
ala muso
was a high-ranking civil servant,
and
her service was immediately terminated without any reason. And when the state came back to this court for the decision to be reviewed by the Supreme Court, he stuck to his position.
I beg your pardon?
He stuck.
Amunta lolato alolota wolto amantambino amansilo soto katambi.
He then received a letter from the Ministry of Justice
Anata letter soto membota minister bundala memmarta kitol
stating that they have been directed
nyina foko nyin kango di tolulale
to terminate his appointment as a judge of the Supreme Court.
Pour kala doko bondi abuluka dahandi doko la ka foko kitindirilale mo ati Supreme Court.
Mr. Jaite, isn't that curious? You have clear constitutional provisions which does not include the Ministry of Justice in the process of terminating a judge. Well, wasn't it? I don't want to use perhaps let me watch what I say here. But it looks to me rather curious that the Ministry of Justice would issue such a letter, knowing fully well that they had no power to issue such a letter, even if they were directed to do so.
Ministry of Justice wala sembo sora pour ka letter sifa ta ka fintindi ka di mola pour mola bayri ñaar.
I think the Chief Justice, at the time a Supreme Court judge, challenged the legality of that decision.
Namira otumo kitin bunda nyaton ko tembo fango amarina ta chalindiro kele wo kuma kango la karola itelie memfo nya.
And the letter was returned back.
And we nata letoro nyi murundi.
Before they could take any other action,
Jani bina ko kundin tamandila.
He gracefully resigned from the judiciary.
Atenata la doko saindi ay doko nyimbula afaye.
I think that must have been a slap on the face of the executive. But they did not stop using that provision, did they?
Well, I think they didn't understand the provision at that time. Because otherwise they would not have instructed the Ministry of Justice to terminate the appointment of a Supreme Court judge by a letter. Supreme
Court kidi bundala kitindirla purka foko kawo bayala do koto tombi takela nunni afaham.
So Honorable Justice Jane of the Supreme Court,
Honorable Justice Jane, member Supreme Court kiti bundala,
explained their experience that in the case of Sadio Fofana and Lantom Bontaba,
Fofana
terminated.
Ala jero lufo Lantom Bontamba ni Sadio Fofana la kito to hanufo menata ke sartoti yala do ko ya bay do ko.
We have another Supreme Court judge called Justice Mam Yasin C.
Nata Supreme Court la kitil ndirla do fananso ikafome Justice Mam Yasin C.
Just a moment to clear the record. Honorable Justice Jane was terminated together with Chauhan and Raymond Sok.
Sok, yes.
Okay, proceed.
So Justice Mam Yasin C, in 2000, she was a High Court judge of the Gambia between 1998 to 2003.
Justice Mam Yasin atafana mu High Court kitindirla bunda la moleti wo tembola wato men nyinkolbe kala kabo 2003 kabo 1993 kata 1998 sango kono
2003
kata 2003 sango kan.
In 2001, she presided over a matter involving the students who had been arrested and detained.
2001 asita kitindirle kunna dame yalonko ye talibo dolle muta inata ila ko bonyoto ye muta itata muto kono.
There was an application filed by a team of pro bono lawyers.
Lawyer lu soton tameni yalonko ye laftalo la wodindingulie andu atakela jokandi ye saveroke.
For the release of the students who had been detained.
Pour ye nyin talibo lu bula ye menu mutateng.
And he made an order for their immediate release. She made an order for their immediate release.
And anata kango di Justice Mam Yasin ako ye nyin dindingula ako ye bula.
On the basis that their detention was unconstitutional, null and void.
And anata nyina ke foko ele muto anim banko la sarto lu mantanyo la adun kule me yalonko amallo dula soto ku kense ngole moy manyan ne mutala.
The following day,
woso mo
the then Attorney General Pape Yasin Sek of blessed memory.
Watembo memu Attorney General ti Pape Yasin Sek alama nema ni kafarkelaye.
Yasin Sek.
Pape Yasin Sek
came over to the judiciary.
Nata kiti bunda nyina.
To lodge a complaint on behalf of the executive.
Kana tumiro futandije banko nyaton ko la kangokan.
The then Chief Justice Honorable Felix Lati.
Wotumo itata okangodi menna wolem Chief Justice ti Felix Lati.
Who summoned Justice Mam Yasin C.
Me yalonko ay Justice Mam Yasin C kumandi
in his chambers to challenge her decision.
Kumandi ala officer kono ka challenge ala kumakangulu kangana e kangomenta.
In response,
Jabiroto
Honorable Justice Mam Yasin C.
Honorable Justice Mam Yasin C.
In her response,
ala Jabiro kono
told the AG that the AGs lodged an appeal
AG la wolem ko e sen kan kumandiro la kangonyin kan
if the government so wish.
Nimman sakunda lafita.
And they had no right to intervene in that matter.
Andu man sembe soto purka kuta mandi wo kokono.
That was the beginning of our troubles or wars.
Betung atela kole akulu damu tata jele.
George's utility bills at that time
ila tamandir sartolu men be lari nungutumo
were settled directly by the Gambia Utility Corporation.
Tumo men ka tamandi wolem Gambia Utilities Corporation wolle kalo wokolu kunna.
They were settled directly too by the judiciary to the Gambia Utilities Corporation.
Gambia Utilities Corporation amunte la kol be lari Gambia la kitibunda la karol.
So her bill was our utility bills were the water and electricity was disconnected.
Bitung wairi abelari wole jama kurango ni nemaji o men katala suokono yewlu be kuntu.
And the bills were not paid.
Andunga kolu anyanta jorolu men kala manna wolu jo.
And she had to fetch water from her neighbors.
To tumo akata jiobi asinyolu leya.
Until she personally settled the bill.
And for a found nata wo julolu jo.
After that, one day she came,
Robotala lunkilinga natana
and find out that her security guards had been withdrawn.
Natatara melu ka kantaro ke aya yewlu fonglu fanalu bondi jele.
Ceremoniously.
Andu ye bondi je nyamenga keta nya ma balem.
Without any notification.
Andu mambo akalama ma bondi akalama imam femfai.
When she called to find out what happened,
bila komandiro ke ka jube muneketa,
he was told that they were needed elsewhere.
Just a moment. Mr. Chair, may I ask that we do 30 minutes break and come back and finish in 40 minutes?
Fine. I think Council, that's all right. So we come back at 2:15. That's all right? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Come back at 2:15.
Thank you.